Like a thief in the night, they'll take away what's left of us. Burning landslides lighting up the sky in front of all of us. Summer fire, heavy heart taking over, leading me to my grave. And I don't know to think of what I told you, but tomorrow is another day. Tomorrow is another day. Fall away. Let the ashes of these memories turn to gray. Stall the pain and let go of all your emptiness, so love remains. Like a bird on a flying sky, watch the clouds as they pass on by. Soar from the earth with no fear and no need to hold on to you, dear. But I'm afraid that I won't come down, 'cause it feels like having you around, like it was back then, when you and me, we were the best of friends. Summer fire, heavy heart taking over, leading me to my grave. And I don't know what to think of what I told you, but tomorrow is another day. Tomorrow is another day. Fall away. Let the ashes of these memories turn to gray. Stall the pain and let go of all your emptiness, so love remains. Like a thief in the 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 night, they'll take away. Like a thief in the 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 night, they'll take away.
Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
𝒔𝒐𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room,
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border. And then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. You don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, on this fine Wednesday here. No, fine Thursday. Where am I? What day is it? It's Thursday, and we're here. A fine Thursday, and it's an absolute pleasure to be back with all of you today. Welcome, everybody. American Anchor Baby. And I got a bit of a show for you. I'm going to get into it here. But I want to welcome first everybody listening that are tuning in on YouTube. Thank you. People on rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. What's up, Jules? And dlive.tv/Gorgonzola. I see you. And of course, punchy.tv. Punchy.tv. I'm streaming on it right now. PUNCHIE.tv. Welcome. We got a nice Thursday ahead of us. We're going to finish it off with American Anchor Baby. Got a bit of a show for you. And as we do on this show, we take calls. So if you want to call, get on hold, talk to the Anchor Baby, and get it off. I don't know. What do you want to say? Say it. Call 888-775-3773. 888-775-3773. Welcome to the show. I got a little Thursday for you. Let me remind you, though. I'm sure many of you already know. But if you haven't caught a Friday flight stream, Nick stream, Anchor Baby Airlines stream, you're going to want to catch it tomorrow. We got a nice show. A good flight and a show like we usually do. We're going to leave the real piloting for when we get that figured. Look, we got stuff working, okay? Don't worry. Big things in the works. But for now, we're in the lovely chair in the studio. And so you got to call 888-775-3773. And I won't berate you. I won't berate you for your lack of manners, your clearly the lack of manners, bad home. What do they call that? Bad home manners. I'm not going to berate you just yet, okay? I'll let you come in first. I'll berate you later, but as you're coming in, can you at least say hello? Well, you don't say hi no more? You don't even say hi anymore? You walk in, you don't even say hi no more? Did anybody have parents that did that? Or an uncle or something? You walk in, you go to the uncle's house, the cousin's house, and you're like, oh, that's my cousin. Okay, at least we can hang. I was at home, fine. I was playing my video games, but we got to go in and now we got to do a family thing. Who liked doing family things? Anybody like doing family things? I was fine, whatever. But anybody have an uncle who's like, you walk in, he's like, hey, where are you going? You're running off to go play. Where are you going? What, you don't even say hi anymore? We had an uncle like that. Have some manners. Or is that ruining the young spirit of a child? Say thank you. I saw a dad today doing that. I thought it was a mom thing. I thought the mothers did that. But I was at a Stowe. I was at a Stowe where you buy things. And there was a father and his must have been a little youngin'. He had these blocks, and he built a gun. And I'm like, oh, you can't build guns? You're going to get flagged. You're going to get red flag laws or something. Or they're going to say, we got to keep an eye on this one. He might be a school shooter or something. And you know what that means, parents. You better watch it. Your kid is building Legos now, but that might turn into jail for you tomorrow. And the dad asked the kid to go get some napkins. He went up to the clerk, got the food and the napkins, and then just ran off. And the dad's like, what do you say? And he turns around and he says, thank you. It felt a little wrong. Like, but anyways, don't build guns. Who built guns? Who turned anything you had when you were a kid? Who turned anything into a gun? If you gave me a saltine cracker, or if you gave me a Skyflakes, a saltine cracker, inevitably, I would bite that cracker into the shape of a gun. I don't know. I was pretty good at it too. I was a little architect. I'd just take little bites and I'd get the shape just right. I would get the shape. I would eat my crackers into the shape of guns. Maybe I should have been red flag lawed or something like that. This kid is a menace. Somebody watch him. But yeah, say thank you. You got to say thank you. Where was I? Oh, yeah. That's not going to stop me from berating you later because you're adults, okay? And it's time to grow up, but we'll get to that later, okay? We'll get to that later. Welcome to the show, 888-775-3773. So we're 25 days. Imagine that, 25 days. Yeah. 25 days away from the election. Ooh, 25 little days. And then, I don't know, guess we vote. We vote. We vote like never before. We vote. You vote hard. I'm laughing because I know there are a lot of naysayers. They say, why even vote? No, in fact, I even had a caller yesterday who felt like, you know, we were talking. He's like, hey, man, I haven't talked to you in a while. What's up, Steve, if you're listening? He's like, hey, yeah, nice to hear from you. Yeah, you know, what you guys have been saying about not taking sides, dropping the fight. And yeah, that's why I don't feel like voting, right? And we never got a chance to get into that. You know, speak freely if you call me. Anybody. You don't have to agree. And yeah, but 25 days until, I mean, people are already voting, right? Vote hard or go home. Nice, delighted. But where was I? People are already voting, no? Early voting, they say. I know very little about that. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Democrat. What do you think I am? I'm not a Democrat. What is this early voting? Now, to be honest, I mean, the first election I voted in was 2016. And that was what do you call that again? When you don't vote, when you vote, you're out of the country. Because I was in Canada. Absentee from abroad. Who knows if that even got counted? They saw that absentee ballot come from Canada. Or maybe they let it in. They're like, it must be a liberal. I'm messing around. That's pure conspiracy and conjecture. There may be problems with elections, even our own. But what I just said was jokes and conspiracy. Sincerely on that one, actually. But 25 days until election, it's coming up. People are already voting. They say that people used to vote just paper ballots. They say that that's how it is still in Canada. A world that's foreign to me. Okay? I need the app. Give me the app. I go in person here in California the few times I've voted, including 2020. Yeah, a foreign world to me. We need the apps. We need the phones. We need the machines. A foreign world to me. But it is coming up, 25 days. And the media, the social medias, the TV, they're primed. And they're talking about the election. And they're trying to get the votes. They're trying to make it happen. Get the minds percolating. Get the people. Get out the vote, they say. Oh, excuse me. You got to get out the vote. And, talking about this new world, this brand new world, it's been a kind of I probably said this enough times, but 2016, the first election where phones were ubiquitous. You had a screen in your pocket, and far more than half of American voters had a phone. A big change. A big change that, can we say, America and Americans are still reeling from in this chaos, in this brand new world of social media, mass media, and public control of public discourse, getting people to see what you want them to see. I guess some people just call that advertisement. But in this brand new world, there are just new things to contend with, social media and all these things. And a lot of these election shenanigans, elections being not the freest and safest elections, at least according to some, they point to a number of things. They point to a number. Look, to some of you, their claims of election problems and shenanigans and all that is too far for you. But there are different levels. There are different levels where some say, Google, like social media, and what different companies choose, how they choose their algorithm, how they develop their algorithm to show you what they want you to see. That's a form of tampering with an election. Some say, in a much smaller and a much more describable and real method. It's through social media and mass media lying and politics and in the mainstream media and all that. And then you see that the levels of tampering, vary to what some think may be too ridiculous to things that are quite believable right in front of us. Mass media. I'm not the only one. Elon Musk, he was saying here on X.com, talking about Google. Speaking a little bit about Google, when you Google something, now, what determines what you see? And maybe you don't know what's underneath the hood, but many people can just see through anecdotal evidence just using the platforms themselves. If something doesn't quite add up, you'll search up my wife beats me. My wife, let's even try that. I think we did this once on my stream, and they may have fixed it, but if you search up like my wife beats me, you get search hits about a woman that's not being understood or something. You search up my husband beats me, and you get you get like a hotline. Google gives you like a hotline, a number to call because you're experiencing domestic abuse. People notice that it's not just an unbiased little search engine, okay? And the people running Google, a lot of these Silicon Valley things, there's been a recent change of the guard or something where more and more people are going Trump, even in that world. So right on. But, many of them remain Democrats, basically Democrat, liberals, radical, pretty radical in some cases, and they don't like the truth. They're totally willing. They are more than happy and willing to change search results to all the way to working with the government in many cases. Do we need a Trump Hunter's laptop? I mean, that's just one. Totally willing to change results, see what you get. Elon Musk made some noise about this, and he shares this picture of someone searching up Trump's latest podcast. Trump was on a show. He was on a podcast recently. Anybody know Flagrant? Flagrant with Andrew Schultz. He's a funny guy, right? Andrew Schultz. Andrew Schultz, and Flagrant, and that whole thing. Elon Musk posted this, says, Google is controlled by far-left activists. And he's sharing a post by this David Sachs guy. And David Sachs is saying, Google lies. And he shares this image of someone searching up on Google Trump's latest podcast. And what you get, the top stories you get, it's publication after publication pointing out, with the headlines like these, podcast hosts laugh in Trump's face as he struggles to defend rambling. Podcast host laughs when Trump describes himself as basically a truthful person, which is honestly a funny way of describing oneself, even in just a headline. But I'm sure that was a great moment. I'm sure even that was a great moment. It's Trump. It's Trump. I'm sure it was a great moment. But he was on some podcast there for a few hours, and it's story after story saying, look at this one moment where he got laughed at. What a loser. They're saying Elon Musk is throwing doubt on the whole fairness of search results themselves. Google is controlled by far left activists. And it's this new world, if I could describe it any other way, that we're living in. This is part of it. This is part of it. Mere search results, things that there is some noise about, but the voices of chaos, meaning the forces that wish to have you forget that something as simple as searching something up could be compromised. Something as simple as a Google search could be propaganda. There was noise about it, but not enough, right? It's like it's getting swept up. Any semblance of consciousness of this continues to get swept up by mass media and the masses and just time. You just forget what's important, what has happened. The greatest sin is to forget. I heard once. Something I heard from Jesse Lee Peterson. Do you know Jesse Lee Peterson? Go look him up. It's a new world. It's a brand new world. So Trump was on this podcast, Flagrant, and it's popular. Andrew Schultz is funny. It's on YouTube. It's made by individuals, an audience built up by these people, as opposed to, a mainstream media news source, all the ones that CNN and all those others. And there's this trend in this new world of alternative media, for example. It's been a number of years now where mainstream media has been effectively challenged by alternative media sources, social media, X, YouTubers and their shows, people in their podcasts on X. I mean, they're having full-on presidential candidates. In fact, presidential candidates are showing up on these shows and declining to show up elsewhere. So Trump was on Flagrant with Andrew Schultz, and according to this post, he declined going on 60 Minutes. Is that true? Trump declined 60 Minutes. 60 Minutes, of course, I'm sure many of you know. 60 Minutes. CBS, on what? Every Sunday has a lot of, what do you call it? Has a reputation, has a lot of credibility, I guess. Maybe not anymore. But 60 Minutes, a staple of CBS programming with a lot of history and legendary moments and interviews over the years. A lot of people tune in. But like everything in that mainstream media world, it's all waning. And they're all wondering, they're all trying to get in on the social media too. But these shows are huge. These shows like Flagrant and others are huge. Numbers that mainstream media wishes they could get. And at the cost, you gotta, the fraction of the cost they gotta do to get these numbers, mainstream media they've been panicking for a while. So he was on Flagrant. Trump was. And where was I? He declines, according to this post, declined 60 Minutes, goes on Flagrant. It's just a brand new world, right? So, moment comedian laughs in a Trump's face when he claims he's basically a truthful person. Let's watch that actually. See if we can watch that moment. Take a gander at that moment. We got this clip here from Independent. And let's at least watch the moment he's getting made fun of. And I see calls coming in. Thank you so much. 888-775-3773. I will get to you. But let's see the moment with Andrew Schultz. It's so embarrassing, but, you know, he's getting laughed at. This guy said he's basically a truthful person. You know he's the liar in chief, right? Remember when they put out, I forget who it was, someone in the Atlantic or somebody put out this article detailing all the lies, and it was something crazy. It was like a crazy number. I'm forgetting now. I might be exaggerating, but it was like the 20,000 lies of Donald Trump's first term or something like that. It was something ridiculous. And it was always missing the point because Trump is a truthful man. He honestly is basically an honest person. Basically a truthful. He's only ever said the truth. He's only ever said the truth. You know, you could call me 888-775-3773. Tell me where I'm wrong. But he's only ever said the truth. Even things that are maybe inaccurate, they're always true. Always. So here he is on Flagrant with Andrew Schultz. Let's watch the moment. Let's watch the moment where comedian laughs in Trump's face.
There should be some kind of a rule. When they know it's a lie, you can't do a commercial on it. But this is a thing that's going to end in 29 days, so they can say what they want. I have a hard time doing it to them because I'm basically a truthful person. But and frankly, she's given me so much ammunition. I don't really have to. I mean,
quite frankly,
radical left lunatic who will destroy our nation. Yeah. Other than that.
Left lunatic who will destroy our nation. Tell me where the lies are, folks. I'm basically, that's just hilarious, okay? That's just hilarious. I'm basing, they're in the background, they're going, basically, what do you mean? I mean, how are you not going to laugh at that? He's amazing. He's Trump, right? But you listen to, so far, the reporting, you think, wow, what an embarrassment, right? Let's take in a couple things. 60 Minutes, he declined 60 Minutes allegedly. Kamala Harris was on 60 Minutes. And that didn't go so well for her. I watched a little bit, but I can't even say myself. But it doesn't look like it went well for her. But I guess looks can be deceiving, right? Kamala was also on another podcast. She was on this other show. They call it Call Her Daddy. They call this mess of a show Call Her Daddy, hosted by this barely a woman, barely a female, barely a woman, Alex Cooper, this Alex Cooper lady. Alex Cooper, thanks for holding, by the way, 888-775-3773. It's interesting, huh? Andrew Schultz, popular show, young people, men, comedian. That's the bend and the angle with the Andrew Schultz show. While Kamala Harris, you know, you could say there's a reason for that, and it's the type of voters and demographics that Trump wants to speak to and all that, and, you know, you could say a lot of good things for that. It's strategically speaking, interesting move. Who put him up to it? Was it Barron? Was it Barron Trump? Barron, you little general. Are you having Trump do the coolest podcast and stuff? And someone give him the reins of the campaign if it's true that Barron Trump is leading some of these amazing appearances. Putting a little word in. Young General Barron Trump, who plays war games on his laptop. Kamala, I guess, is trying to speak to her demographic and her voters. Vapid, shallow women on Call Her Daddy. Some show about like sex and stuff. And it's just like a raunchy show. And it's like, it gets views because she had on Justin Bieber's wife and was like, so Justin Bieber used to date Selena Gomez. Tell us, how does that make you feel? And they got the dramatic music. And so what did you do in the bedroom with him? And it's like, that's like a show. That's what gets like all these views. And then I guess they try to have real conversations too on that show. I don't know that much about it, but you look at the headlines and you would think it went bad for Trump, went well for Kamala, but it didn't go well for Kamala either. Not only on 60 Minutes or on this Call Her Daddy podcast thing. In fact, it's gone pretty bad. Not only for Kamala Harris, but for this Alex Cooper individual. Alex Cooper. I mean, honestly, folks, just go to the YouTube videos and look at the comments. It's delicious. It's absolutely delicious. When they didn't delete the comments, people are asking too. People are all over the comments wondering. Sorry, hold on. People are all over the comments wondering when is Call Her Daddy going to make the comments private or whatever. When are they going to disable the comments on the video because it's not looking good for Kamala? In fact, Alex Cooper has gotten a bunch of backlash over it. More on that in a moment. But just take a look. Just take a look. Let's look together. Let us look together. Call Her Daddy. Why? No. Who all, look. Who all just came here for the comments? LOL. Selective service is required for all men to sign up for. Millions of Americans men have died forcibly at the hands of government. Now, I actually know what this commenter is referring to, and I'm paraphrasing here, but I think I saw this clip where Alex Cooper was asking Kamala Harris something along the lines of in what aspect of men's lives does the government meddle, like in their lives and their bodies or whatever? And Kamala Harris was like, nothing. And they're basically trying to say that the government's trying to or is meddling with women's lives and their bodies with abortion. I want to kill the babies. I can't believe they're not letting me. And so a lot of people have been commenting and saying, well, what about the draft? You know anything about the draft? I mean, this has to be, these kinds of conversations need to be shut down quick. You just ask them, what rights do women not have that men do have? Like, let's get down to it. Let's not talk around it. Get to it. Tell me. Right? Nothing, obviously. Y'all ever heard of the draft? 40 minutes with Kamala cut down to a 7-minute blip. Fitting. Yeah, because this isn't even the whole podcast. The comments did not disappoint. Can't believe how tone deaf this interview is. Thank you, comment section, for look, it's bad. It's not looking good, Kamala. Kamala helped with vaccine mandates. Is that my body, my choice? The host turned off comments in the full Spotify version because this is the most embarrassing and worst timing for anyone running for office, let alone someone running for president. I cannot believe they left the comments open. Ha ha ha. That's fun. Like, who else? Look, let's see. Let's try, because they're all commenting on the comments. Where are the spicy ones? The only damn thing this person even why are you cussing up in here? You made me cuss. The only darn thing she is willing to talk about is abortion. The podcast viewership and rating going forward have been unburdened by what has been yucking it up. Look, we love it. We love it. Funny stuff. Look, let's take a look. Let's take a look over here. In the podcast where he got laughed at by a podcast host. It's just the boys. And probably even the girls. Let's be real. The women love Trump. Like the way they love Jesse. Oh, you're such a misogynist. They love Jesse. They love Trump. The women love Trump. And so probably even the lady, but it's the boys in the chat, and they're just like, what? Hey, great stuff. Let's go. Trump was hilarious and authentic. Kamala on Call Her Daddy and Trump on Flagrant. This is peak election campaigns we're seeing in our lifetimes. Yeah. Barron is low-key Trump's best campaign manager. I know this. Seeing Andrew and Trump bonding on Scottish mothers was awesome. Thumbs up. I can't read that one. Podcast Trump is the best version of Trump. No way. We got Trump on Flagrant. This is wild. Barron is guiding his dad right. Nice. Incredible access and transparency. Incredible. So great job, Andrew Schultz. What can I say? What can I say there? Great job. The lies, though, the incredible lies. They tried making him look bad. They're full on lying. That is their modus operandi. Full on lies. It's a new feature, and I want to describe what I mean by that in a second here. But yeah, check this out. Johnny Maga posts in just 7 hours, Trump's podcast with the real Andrew Schultz received more views than Kamala on Call Her Daddy, which has been out for 3 days. It's nearly triple the likes. You gotta love it. Almost 500K as well, but 3 days ago. You gotta love it, okay? The people have spoken. You know, as a little side note, this social media world there's a mad dash to control is also increasingly, I noticed, harder to control, harder to put the genie back in the bottle, so to speak, due to the advent of this is my impression of AI, and not just AI, but about other things. But what I'm saying here is that even the early chat GPTs were edited in a way where they had to edit their responses, and they still are to a certain degree, but even that has relaxed because there's a seeming effect going on where you can't put the genie back in the bottle. People, the AI, as much as you train it, can be basically forced to give the real answer if you just talk to it right. Talk to what? No, we're not going there. So it's an interesting effect. Side note, maybe more on that another day. This Alex Cooper lady, though, like, what does she even do? What's her freaking point? I remember hearing about Alex Cooper some years ago when this Call Her Daddy podcast was getting some attention. You know, apparently she's losing mad followers over this. Podcaster loses thousands of followers after Kamala Harris. I even saw her put out like a little mea culpa. You know, one of these videos where they're talking to their phone directly and they're saying sorry, or, you know, they're saying why XYZ happened. No, you got to understand. So, a bit of a disaster. But this Alex Cooper person is, I remember hearing about her like some years ago. This is my impression of her. Look, this is what I know about this person. I remember when she got some attention, it was her whole slut camp thing. Slut camp. The slut camp. Literally the slut camp. And it's like what? Like what's the university that Andrew Tate put out? You know, he had his whole program to teach you how to be a high value male like him and all that. It's like she had something similar like that, slut camp. And I remember the tagline was something akin to learn how to conceal your sluttiness and trick men by making them think you're wifey material, stuff like that. She would say everyone deserves a slut phase with no repercussions, she says, as almost basically advice to the young women listening to her show. Oh my gosh. Oh no. I'm sorry, folks. I'm reacting to the slut camp woman. She's married. Bro, her slut camp advice was literally be a slut and trick your man into thinking you're a wifey material and no repercussion slut phase and stuff like that. Bro? The thing is, I'm making a joke, but he probably knows. In fact, I'm sure he knows. A lot of people would look at Alex Cooper and say, well, men don't like stuff like that. Don't be a slut. And that is fine advice. But then they'll like get scared and see her married and think, well, maybe that's not so true. No, that still remains true. Don't think otherwise. Okay, money and status has effects with women too. And considering how beta men are becoming, they would be happy with a former slut phase wife. With no repenting, may I add, because we all do crazy things in our past. Okay. A slut phase, a body count, while you should not care, it does matter. You shouldn't care in a sense, it does matter, right? And she doesn't seem to think it matters at all. And so, anyways, I'm rambling a bit. Alex Cooper, this is the slut camp girl. I can't think of worse advice for young women. I can't think of worse advice for young women than to forget your God in the days of your youth. I can't think of worse advice. A slut face, no repercussions. Alex Cooper. Alex Cooper. I think I could move on from her though. Trying to make Trump. I did have this one video. Shall we? I have callers on hold and everything. You guys have been so patient. Just another minute, please. 888-775-3773. What kind of hard-hitting interviewer is she?
Do you believe in equality of women and men?
I believe in equality of value, yes. I don't believe in equality of function. Like, literally, men and women have different functions with their bodies, and the way their bodies operate.
What is your goal when you show up to this place?
My goal is to try to persuade people not to take the innocent lives of their children and offer them alternatives. Somehow
Is it a man's issue?
I do think abortion is a man's issue, yes.
Why is that?
If men didn't take advantage of women and have sex with them outside of marriage, then this wouldn't be a thing.
Do you think that it would be helpful if men all at a young age got vasectomies and then when they were ready to financially be able to support a child, then they get it reversed?
Are you suggesting that the government institute that as a government program?
At this point, we're regulating the uteruses. We could also regulate the penises, right?
Hey, okay, that's enough out of you.
To have the kids.
You dirty woman. You had to go and say that on my show right now. Don't you know I'm sitting in the chair where I don't know, I act a little bit, I act like a little bit more official. I act a little bit more official. It's like, we're doing radio. You can't say that. I role play, okay? Dirty woman. It's great. Look, mogged, destroyed by a seemingly nice guy, and he's not wrong, right? It's like, he's right. If men were involved, it is a men's issue. It's his children. It's his children. It's totally a men's issue. If only they were involved, then this wouldn't be so bad. And he's like, he says it in that Christian way, like they weren't taking advantage of. I don't even know if he's a Christian, but I'm nitpicking. He's totally right and totally with calmness and decency, absolutely put this dirty woman in her place. So I'm just nitpicking, like, because I've heard that before. And sometimes it comes from a weak standpoint, like women are only killing children because men are weak. Women are killing children because they hate men. You're leaving a lot out, and I'm not saying that guy was leaving anything out. Right on, man. But anyways, Alex Cooper, they're trying to make Trump look bad. If you're gonna tell a lie, tell the big one. Didn't some communist, Saul Alinsky or something say something like that? More on that in a moment. I want to tell you about my thoughts. Says this really funny, almost hilarious leftist in his article, and what he's sad to not see in Kamala Harris. I think you'll find this. I chortled. It was just so funny. This academic. So more on that in a moment, but I want to get to these calls who've been patiently waiting. Don't go anywhere, callers. Let's do this now. 888-775-3773. And the first caller here, you're on the air. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, Nick. It's Internet Manster.
What's up, sir? How you doing? Internet Manster.
I'm all right. I'm not actually from anywhere because I'm a non-corporeal being.
You lost your corporeal form? Was it in the last Nick Stream flight or?
I'm just an alias. I'm no longer a human.
You're just a line of code.
Question this week.
You're just a line of code with audio attached to it, and with its newest AI abilities.
I'm a non-corporeal being,
and I'm the second wife. I'm the second wife to a non-corporeal. Anyways, I'm just stacking jokes here, man. I'm just stacking jokes. Give me. Go ahead, give it to me. What are you talking about?
Well, I can't rant to a certain somebody, so I got to call my second wife.
I should not be encouraging this joke. We're supposed to be making the anchor baby look good. You're supposed to be making me look good.
Yeah, trust me, she gets jealous of the cats, so she would hate that. But I wanted to rant about just a little thought on the top of my head. I wanted to get your reaction and what you thought. If in the hypothetical worst scenario that Kamala wins, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say Kamala wins. God forbid, but let's say she does.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think Trump will do? Do you think Trump will try to run in 2028? Or do you think Trump will retire and just go about his day and say, well, I tried, I gave it my best, and they decided not to, and I'll walk away?
I think he's mentioned something about that. I forget. But I think he even alluded to there not being a 2028 should he not win 2024. And honestly, I don't blame him if that's true. I just, even without him saying that, if he said that, I don't know if I'm remembering that wrong or making that up. But even if he didn't say it, I honestly would assume that he wouldn't. Yeah, I honestly would. I would think in some way, shape, or form, he maybe would be involved in some way, shape, or form. But that's kind of a remains to be seen kind of thing. But I honestly would say no. I wouldn't think he would run again. How old would he even be at that point?
DeSantis' time to run?
DeSantis, I don't know. See, I know him as this governor of Florida who's done a fine job. But does he have that country leading X factor? I mean, we saw him try. I feel like the well has been poisoned a little bit for the anchor baby, because I saw his run. I saw his recent run for president, or, for the primaries for Republican nominee. I saw that as nothing else than a power grab / attempt from some sort of political patron and faction that would like to basically usurp Trump's influence when he had a total other second term to still do. So the well's been poisoned for me a little bit, but
do you think DeSantis
I don't think he's a bad guy. I don't think he's a bad guy. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Do you think DeSantis understands that is what he was maybe doing? And do you think he could learn from that and realize it was a bad mistake? What I'm alluding to is I would like to see DeSantis try in 2028. I think it's a good move that he's governor now. It was a terrible move. It was a politically terrible move to run for president. And I think he knew that, halfway going in, but knew I already stepped into this pool. I got to swim to the other side of the water. And he did his best and knew when to dip out when the red flags had been raised. With that said, God forbid Trump doesn't win, but if he does lose, I agree with you. I don't think Trump would, if I heard you correctly, I don't think Trump would try again in 2028. I think this is our last chance with the right guy.
I think that's sort of true what you're saying. That's sort of true. In other ways, you were saying earlier, Kamala Harris, God forbid she gets in and all that. Look, it's not good. It's a horrible direction, and would be another candidate in the succession of people and that are pushing America to this messed up direction where you have grievance politics. You can have hurricane assistance that's geared to the diversity, equity, and the LGBT. It's a world like that, ever increasing. It's a bad path and a very, very radical one. But when we get down to the nitty gritty, in my opinion, Kamala Harris's presidency, though her 4 years, although the wrong direction for sure, I gotta say, I don't think it's as. She's not gonna start redistributing wealth day one, for example. Honestly, it'll be a lot of the same. It'll be a slow march. It'll be a lot of just Biden, but just a little bit more. It'll be a lot of the same. So her winning isn't even the end, or you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to assuage these notions a little bit and I even have a story after your call here that I think will add to what I'm saying here. But I don't think it's even that catastrophic. What's truly radical about Kamala Harris and even all the succession before her, the radical part is not even in what exact policy they'll enact, but they're mishtuka. You know, she believes, well, she's angry. She's angry. She was raised by a single mom and she would learn through her life that the women in her life are beaten down and she's got to be the champion for them. She is angry. That's radical, man. And that's a slower march to socialism, communism, all those things. But the exact policies of tomorrow, the day one
her character is right on her shoulder. I mean, you can see that she's a phony. I mean, if there's one word I can use to describe Kamala, to sum it all up, she's a phony.
Big time, man.
Downright phony. So I mean, there's so many reasons why she's a bad leader.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to wait and see on J.D. Vance. I'm going to wait and see on people, and we'll see what happens 2028. It's a little too far ahead for me. But, yeah, Ron DeSantis, too. I'd like to see what happens with him and others. And I'd like to see what happens with Barron Trump, maybe even.
You know, I think about this a lot, the whole family dynasty thing of the Trumps. And, you know, they've become a dominant political name now. And I would like to see a
ruling family?
Oh,
sorry, my bad.
A ruling, no. Not a fascist. Not into that.
Never mind. Yeah, me neither.
But I would like to see Eric or the other son. I forget his name. The guy with the beard.
Eric and what you mean, Don Jr.?
Don Jr. Thank you.
Don Jr.
Don Jr. I think has probably set himself up the best for a future political career. Kind of like like the Kennedys, you know, like the Trumps have become the Republican Kennedys.
That's an interesting view of it, man. I would like to see how that develops, man. Definitely.
Well, in 2028, you know, hopefully we survive till then. But my main thought earlier was, if Trump lost, is this the last we'll ever hear? Like, it just whichever candidate loses, I think it will probably be the last we ever hear from them. If Trump loses, he seems like the kind of guy that's just going to be like, you know what, gave him my best, I might bow out. I don't know. You know, I thought he would do that after 2020, and I was wrong.
Honestly,
I'm probably wrong again. But
I see him as the kind of guy who would honestly, and I think I would be fine with that. It would make perfect sense. Let's say 2024 doesn't happen. Yeah, go live your life with the family. But I find it hard to believe that he wouldn't have at least make an appearance, make some kind of, you know, something to set up something beyond him. And
well, he'll always
not
be
running, but you know,
political figurehead that could always be a good support behind anybody that's running.
I've heard this. The same thing with Kamala. Her most radical part of her is her character. The same thing with Trump. His most radical and admirable, and I think most lasting impact will also be his character.
You know, I genuinely believe in Trump. You know, rarely do I see somebody that I just not only kind of trust, but I just want to believe in, you know? And Trump kind of puts that hope in you. You know, that's one thing he gives you is hope. And that's, you know, when people compare him to Christ, I think that's the comparison, is that Trump gives you hope. It's not that he's out there putting, you know, spells on people or curing diseases. He gives people hope. That's what Christ did. He gave people hope.
Man,
but, you know,
totally, man. Man, thank you, Internet Manster. Appreciate your commentary on this. Anything else you want to talk about real quick?
Dude. Oh, you know, I like to end with something stupid. You know, I like doing that. all I had to say about my final ending quote was that the wife has decided that we're changing dinner tonight. We're not having shrimp Alfredo. So we're just going to have to deal with leftovers.
Dude, you're setting me up for a joke that I know is just going to make me look bad. But I can't help it. You set me up. I want to say something like, come here, baby. She doesn't even treat you right. She don't even treat you right.
She don't treat you right.
Internet Master Man, call me again, sir.
I love your show, dude. Seriously. All right, I'll talk to you later, man.
888-775-3773. Let me get to the second call who's been waiting patiently just as long. Then I have another story for you, and then more calls. So thanks for the patience. 888-775-3773. You know, I do want to say, it's always silly to me how averse and scared people are of comparing anybody to Jesus. Trump? No, nobody's like Jesus. There's no man like Jesus. He's our Lord. He is our Lord. Jesse, what are you talking? I thought he was our brother. What the? What he has, we have. What the? Caller, your name and where are you calling from?
How's it going, Anchor Baby? Kyle, Massachusetts.
What's up, Kyle? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, no, I want to say God bless the last caller, and it was 2 callers. I was watching something.
No problem. Yeah, it was just one call.
Just one call. Yeah, that's great. If your wife is making you dinner, then
at least she's making you dinner, huh? Is what you're saying.
Yeah, like you're already.
At least you have a wife who's making you dinner. At least you have leftovers.
It's a great thing. But
I guess it depends on who you ask.
100%. I just want to say.
Go ahead, Kyle. What'd you call about?
So, talking about Trump getting back into office as if he's not already back into office, which is his office has been his office for the last 4 years. I guess that's just my opinion. But I just feel it in my heart. And I know God, and it's just, I don't know if you agree with this, but it seems as though that people that, the masses just don't see that he's already back into office and healing the country. Do you have any question?
Yeah, what makes you say that?
Well, I mean, when you look at the popularity between Kamala Harris and Waltz, that guy from the Tavistock Institute, whatever, CIA, and then between that and Trump and Vance, it's when obviously they're gonna, they can try to change things, but ultimately when someone's so popular, they can't lose the election. And that's how he won in 2016. So he's going to win like that on November 25th. Do you not agree with that?
Hey, I sure hope so. I see the same energy and support. I'm seeing all sorts of people and groups and who wouldn't normally. They seem to be there seems to be. I almost you almost don't want to say things like this, because I almost hear it all the time, but a real grassroots, grassroots support from all sorts of people, diverse peoples.
Oh, okay.
I think that's a good sign. I gotta say, there's energy there. I sure hope so, Kyle. I sure hope so. Is all I gotta say.
Yeah.
But
what about a RFK? All right. So what about what do you think about RFK Jr. Trying to expose the CIA and also heal the food and help the farmers, and also heal the soy and all the stuff that's causing, and also go against big pharma Do you have any?
No real thoughts besides it's just an interesting, different angle to, I don't know, to this movement, to the MAGA tent. I don't know what to call it. It's an interesting addition. If you ask me, I like.
But doesn't it seem kind of like a? Doesn't it seem like kind of like a life or death thing? Because if our next generation is eating soy and on antidepressants, and also the farmers are being suppressed, doesn't it seem like kind of like a life or death thing where he's sticking his neck out and he really cares about the next generation in America?
It seems like it. You know, it seems like it. He's one of these guys with like big ideas, and I think America kind of needs that. You know, these guys, Elon Musk and all that. They're thinking about the problems, the big basic things, food, energy production. They're thinking about the basic things in big, innovative ways.
Right.
It's just interesting. It's interesting to see.
But they're like not getting to the grit of things like soy is going to make.
What would you say is? What would you say they're missing? What would you say they're missing in their, in what they're what? It sounds like you know more. I'm not too sure about RFK and what he's talked about. What do you think he's missing in what he's focused on? You're saying he's got to focus on soy?
No. He's focused. He's basically seed oils. It's been proven that causes multiple diseases, and also soy lowers testosterone in men, and that's a new thing in the last 50 years. That's his thing, and he grew up. The Kennedys grew up around us in the Cape. We didn't know them, obviously, but Massachusetts. But he's pushing at the food, the WHO, and he's pressing on things that are extremely important. Because if we have another generation of people eating soy, men eating soy, the testosterone goes down so much. And then also seed oils causes more cancer. And then he's also pushing against vaccines. And, it's just...
Sounds awesome, man. I'm going to definitely pay attention to all those things. It sounds interesting to me, sir. Right on. It's an interesting injection of something I don't usually get to hear much about, especially on the right. You know what? I wouldn't even be against is seeing a more like how do I put it? A green, clean earth kind of stuff too. I'm not against that stuff. Climate change is all a lie, and it's all ways to control the economy and all that. I get that. That being said,
100%.
There's something to caring about your environment.
No, absolutely. All right, Rod. I didn't mean.
Go. Last thing, and then we got to move the wheels. Go ahead.
Yeah. The Green New Deal. So he's pushing also against. He's not only pushing against the food, the WHO with the vaccines and the soy and the food and stuff, which is only 50 years old. He's also pushing against like Green New Deal, and so the Green New Deal is like so basically we get taxed higher but it's not for carbon emissions. It's actually just to push more of the Democrat agenda. I just want to say that.
Of course. It's a way of taking control of the economy and getting us to consume less. It's not at all for cleaning up the environment. But yeah, right on, man. Kyle, you were going to say one last thing there?
No, I think I said it.
Right on, man.
Thank you so much.
No problem, man. Call me again, sir.
Yeah, absolutely.
888-775-3773. I see you there, caller. I will get to you. But let me get into this. What was I saying earlier? I was saying, if you're going to tell a lie, tell the big one, right? That's what they say. Or at least this one guy said, this rules for radicals, Saul Alinsky. A lot of these radical leftists, they love this guy. And, I was listening to Bill Lockwood, actually, the other day, Bill Lockwood, he's on the Jesse Lee Peterson show once a month towards the end there. I think the last Wednesday of every month, but I forget. Bill Lockwood always has great segments on the JLP show. You know, he's talking about human nature in this one I was rewatching. And, yeah, human nature and endlessly toiling against these forces of chaos. He didn't quite put it like that, but essentially, you know, on their country, Jesse and Bill, they're like, well, our country, what has happened to our country? How could it be that people could be so willing to accept socialism and communism and grievance and blaming and victimhood? And Bill Lockwood said, essentially, he brought up the whole tree of liberty must be rejuvenated. What is it? The tree of liberty must be refreshed, they say, with the blood of patriots. Whoa, Bill Lockwood, calm down. You know, he was talking about that a little bit. He's talking about with Jesse being surprised to see their country, it's this path, such a level. And all the ways that America is already essentially communist, you know, communist, but really a different version, a modern neo communism. Is that a word? Does that exist? Am I making things up here? Neo communism, whatever, a modern thing, a modern monster. And he describes all the different things. He goes back to Woodrow Wilson. Woodrow Wilson, World War I president. He promised the world to everyone, that guy. He said this was the war. This will be the war to end all wars, he said. In fact, his speeches and how lofty they were and yet not even closely attained are such that there's even an adjective nowadays, maybe not widely used, but I've seen it in books. An adjective used to describe when someone is giving a grand speech, a Wilsonian speech, they call it. A Wilsonian, but really, it's all just flowers. It's all just emotion, you know. He promised this is the war to end all wars, all oppression. And then afterwards, he told the nations of the world, you deserve the right, the freedom to all nations have the right to the self-determination, he said, not knowing that he didn't really mean it. Because afterwards, every fighting nation, because, you know, you had like Yugoslavia or whatever, it broke up into all these fighting nations, the balkanization of different, so you had all these groups fighting and they're saying, no, we're a real country, Countless fights, and Woodrow Wilson's looking at all these people making a request to him and the allies that won, let us have a nation. And he's like, he's like pulling his collar, like letting out the steam like a cartoon. When I said everybody has the right to self-determination, I didn't mean everybody. I'm paraphrasing, but he literally said something like that. Enacted the Fed, FDR, redistribution promises. The redistribution has continued ever since. Now, I heard Obama even did the whole redistribution of ghettos. They even redistribute the ghettos. Imagine that. They even redistribute, you know, there's his housing thing. He had this housing thing where you had to have zones of like low economic housing and stuff like that in the nice places too. Redistribution of ghettos. Imagine that. It goes on and on. Some would describe Woodrow Wilson, FDR, and their governance, not exactly communism, but some would describe their governance something more akin to democratic socialism. I'm chuckling because nobody would call it that today. That's too on the nose. They would call it social democracy. You know. Anyways, years ago, I read this paper, you know, years ago before even really understanding or caring about this sort of things. But I remember coming across things like this even years ago. But years ago, I remember reading this paper that I didn't even quite understand at the time, called it was titled The Beijing Consensus. And it was written by this British economist named Joshua Cooper Ramo. The point of this paper was essentially to describe this rapid economic growth of China at the time that had suddenly become very visible, just very visible, got a lot of people interested, like, what's your secret, what are you doing? And the emphasis on the Beijing consensus and their style of governance was on state control, but really about also flexibility on a wide range of levels, okay? Where the state could maintain control over various industries, but yet loosen it up in certain ways and test out certain policies in small areas before scaling, which they found a lot of success with. And, features of this Beijing consensus is essentially a hybrid capitalism, socialism, where the state truly micromanages every aspect of the free market. It was a new beast, okay? Got a lot of people interested. And Joshua Cooper here wrote about this. Here's an excerpt. The Washington consensus, as opposed to the Beijing consensus, emphasized deregulation, privatization, and open markets with minimal state intervention. Let me make it clear, when speaking about this Washington consensus, they're talking about America's policies abroad, not necessarily domestic. And even their domestic emphasis on deregulation, privatization, and open markets has gone far, far from anything like maybe, I don't know, the founders or others would have wished it to be. So with that being said, here he continues here. He says, however, many countries, particularly in Latin America and Africa, experience mixed results from these policies, the Washington consensus. While China, which pursued a very different path, saw unprecedented growth. My personal theory on this, on why this one, because the Washington consensus is a one-size-fits-all mentality that was, can we call it, exported by America across to their many projects. And it didn't quite work. An interesting thing about it. My personal theory about it, which is not very developed, so don't take this too seriously, is this. My theory is like the people. Think about Latin America. Think about the people in Latin America, Africa, etc. The people just simply not ready for a one-size-fits-all Washington consensus, open market, okay? They have a socialist mindset. You got to understand these people a little bit and where they came from, the history of their governments. And yeah, maybe at one time, the Latin America, maybe it was one way. But look, they have a socialist mindset, okay? They really do. The Beijing consensus focused on innovation rather than relying solely on traditional paths to industrialization. China made significant investments in cutting-edge technology, artificial intelligence, telecommunications. Their focus on industry and utilitarianism, you gotta, how do I put this? In relation to that last excerpt, it's the limits a government has with the people they have. And Beijing saw how to operate with what they had, okay? But anyways, why am I talking about all this? Because it brings me to this article that I found. There's something funny about this. There's something funny about this because there's a whole bunch of people in America. And they're wringing their hands. They're wringing their hands and they look like this. And they're wringing their hands. And they're of all races, okay? But they're wringing their hands. You got little hand wringers. And they're looking for a payday. They see what's going on with America, the chaos, the division. And they're saying it's time for reparations, for example. They're saying it's time for my stuff. Where's my land? Give it to me. And I can't help but laugh as some of these people start realizing, oh, I actually might not be getting a payday. I might be getting used. What is going on? You promised me reparations. I can't help but laugh a little bit as some of these people, these academics and journalists are starting to realize they're not getting what they thought they were getting. It's a mess. So I came across this article on Splinter, which seems like some, I don't know, far left publication here. This Jacob Windling, I think is how you pronounce your name, Jacob Windling. He writes this article here. titled Bernie Sanders and AOC Go to War with Billionaires. Okay? And he makes this, he describes Kamala Harris, essentially. He describes Kamala Harris, and his conclusions are just quite funny. They're quite interesting. Because he opens up this article. He opens up this article talking about, he says, there is admittedly not a whole lot left for us. Sorry, let me start again. 888-775-3773. His article reads, excuse me, there is admittedly not a whole lot for us lefties in Kamala Harris's platform. She describes herself as an avowed capitalist. Oh no. And her policies reflect that. As for the most part, she does not want to directly intervene in the economy to accomplish her economic goals. She doesn't want to directly intervene. You mean no reparations? Go on, you're supposed to distribute things. You're radical, right? Her platform is filled with middle and low-income tax cuts and credits in the hopes that she can incentivize the economy to work for people with a net worth under $1 million. You mean she's trying like economics strategies to increase growth and capitalism? No! No, Jacob shrieks. However, Kamala Harris does allude to one kind of direct economic intervention quite a bit in her platform, as she has taken up the mantle of decrying anti-competitive practices by businesses in her bid to lower prices. No, Kamala's not going to redistribute wealth. No, why not? And then he goes on. The rest of this article is him praising AOC and Bernie Sanders because, I don't know, they're making some attempt. They're coming together to go after billionaires, which is so shallow. Like it's just a billionaire. It's just a matter of having this money. You become evil, and they're the same people who think, well, just because you're black, it means you've been wronged. Very shallow thinking that you have to either be evil or stupid to be repeating. You're either evil and you know what you're doing, or you're just stupid. Blind. So that's what the rest of the article is, but I couldn't help but point out how this realization that guess what? You aren't getting redistribution, dummies. You're being used for a purpose, for the purpose of those who want to hold on to and get more power, and you're just simply a tool. You thought you were going to get reparations? You thought, you measly voter, you don't even produce anything. You don't own a farm. You don't own anything the communists want. You don't even have anything they want. You make nothing. And you think you're going to get something? You're going to get reparations? You're just a pawn. And if you do get reparations, it'll be monopoly money by then. Okay? Like, think about this. I want you to think a little bit about this neo-Washington consensus. You see, the features of it, how it may operate, are rooted in new technologies and are made possible by new populations. Let me explain. Just like the Beijing Consensus, which is not even called that anymore, they call it the China model. They call it capitalism with Chinese qualities. I've heard that one. They call it state capitalism. Just if you wanted to know. But just like that was a modern take, so is this faction in Washington. A modern hybrid. It's been a hybrid, but it'll be an even deeper hybrid with Kamala and going forward. This new Washington consensus of hybrid socialism, the features of it have only been made recently, how it may operate so effectively have only been made recently possible due to new technologies and the change of demographic and population, okay? Immigration and all that has brought about socialist mentalities. So easy, just so easy. Fish in a barrel, these Mexicans, blacks, and otherwise. They'll vote Democrat, they don't care. And then besides that, technology, because the features of this neo-Washington consensus, it's not even tact. It's not even deep conspiracy. It's just straight up lying. And not only straight up lying, but straight up lying and like misinformation, psychological operation campaigns through technology. by obfuscating articles, amplifying others, full-on banning, etc. The features of this neo-Washington consensus is straight-up lying, made only possible with technology. And so you're not getting anything. They're getting your vote and you're getting nothing. And they were able to do that with the technology and all the things available to them, okay? And guess what? This consensus I'm talking about, this neo-Washington consensus, is between Republicans and Democrats. They consent. Trust me. Oh, yes, they consent. They both want control and censor, an ability to censor you. Trust me. They're trying to go after TikTok, for example. It's both left and right. Republicans, Democrats, both going after TikTok, not because they care about the children, but because you can't brainwash the children and brainwash and propagandize the public, the American public. We want to do that. You're not allowed to do that. I also heard the real communists don't even like Kamala Harris because she likes the cops or use the law enforcement or something like that. You know, it's funny to me because, well, I mentioned that point, and then we'll get to calls here. Thanks for the patience. I mentioned that point because, you know, to say that, to add to what I was saying earlier about a Kamala presidency, as much as that should not happen, and nobody should vote for someone so empty and phony and radical and angry and evil, her actual policies will be pretty bad, but they're not going to be, communist redistribution and the state takes over industries, and it's not. It's just not. It's just going to be a little bit more of the same. And what's been going on is bad enough. You don't need me to tell you that. I also find this funny because this author really believes. They really believe we're in a capitalist. They literally wrote an article where they say that we are living in a capitalist society built for white male property owners. If only we were so lucky. If only we could be so lucky. Yeah, maybe at one time, but you're blind if we're living in a capitalist society built for white male landowners. I wish. I wish it wouldn't suck so bad. But anyways, I just couldn't help but show you that the shrieking of these people realizing Kamala Harris is actually not going to totally. She's actually just more. She's another wing of this bird. Yeah, welcome to the real world. She's just another wing of the bird. It's all the same. It's crap. Anyways. You don't get it. Let me get to this caller, though. Caller, your name and where you calling from?
Hey, what's up, Nick? This is Ryan from Florida.
What's up, man? Nice to hear from you.
Nice. Hey, listen, that was a good article, bro. It's actually kind of crazy to see that even people that are, like, I guess, full-on communists can be manipulated that easily.
Yep.
By their own party.
It's a feature of communism.
It's like NPC life. Like, it's just total subordination. Don't question anything. They're obviously telling us the truth. They're going to bring in socialism. Capitalism's finally going to go down, et cetera, et cetera.
It's crazy, man. You have
to.
It really is spiritual at its root. It really is spiritual at its root. You have to have a demoralized people to make it all work.
But dude, it's like that George Orwell 1984 or whatever. That movie where everyone's sitting down in the front of the rows, and then they bring a man on the screen, and that like shows everybody to wake up in the morning to yell at that person.
Yes,
that's how I feel like communists are.
If you repeat a lie, well, who said this one? I know some communists said that one. If you repeat a lie enough, it becomes the truth.
I know that there's a man with a funny mustache whose name I'm not supposed to say. Who said that quote?
I think we're allowed to. Really, it was him.
Yeah. He said if you tell us, it was either him or Goering, who was the. I think he was like the propaganda person of the Third Reich.
Oh.
It was either him or Goering, yeah.
There you
One
go.
of them two said, if you say a lie long enough and over enough, it ends up becoming the truth.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
But hey, listen, I wanted to ask you a question about the election because you were talking about it earlier.
Hit me.
And then I want to get your honest opinion. I know who you want to win, but who do you really think will win? And here's the reason why I asked this question. We are told propaganda and lies throughout our entire life, throughout the media and Hollywood and everywhere around us, right? And we know that Donald Trump won the 2020 election. We just flat out know that. It
I
might
don't
not
know
be.
that.
You really don't believe that?
I don't know. I just can't. I don't even dare.
Okay, how about this? I don't know if he won or not, but I know there's voter fraud.
Let me say this, Ryan. I wouldn't dare even question. I love that Trump uses his free speech to question such things, and I support him in doing that. But I wouldn't dare do such a thing. YouTube has made that clear to all of us. That you know what I'm saying, sir?
Yep.
But speak freely. Go ahead. Speak freely and try and use try and use alternative words if you can. But go ahead.
So, okay, let's see if I can make this as alternative as possible. He
Shenanigans.
Shenanigans, exactly. Well, I just wanted to ask you specifically about the 6 swing states, because we went to bed, and then overnight, each swing state bumped up. There was that meme that was going around. It was like Biden kind of hopping over the goalpost or whatever. Yeah.
No, the famous.
Do you see anything in place this time around to stop swing states from being meddled with?
I really don't know, and I gotta say, I don't know if I've seen much. Like there was some stink about it. The Congress or Republicans in Congress, and it may have even been bipartisan. And if it was, oh my gosh, now you really know they were going to do nothing about it. But they had this thing. Didn't they have this thing, the SAVE Act? I mean, I heard a little bit about it. Mike Johnson made some stink. Haven't heard about it since. Did that even get passed? They're trying to save elections. I mean, has anything to... No. People are still early voting. All the COVID era stuff is, I think, unless you're in some states, right? They worked hard, and I forget the details on this, but some states worked hard to undo a lot of those things. But those are just some states. It's not... Now you have an even deeper divide. Georgia, all these places, they stayed the way they did and the way they changed for COVID, and it's just wild, man. And about that stuff, here's what I got to say about it, because you asked me who do I sincerely think will win, and I'm trying to pull up images of that huge election bump, the famous bump, and the night of 2020,
all 6 states,
the unexplainable
Wisconsin, Michigan,
statistical
Nevada,
bump.
Arizona, Georgia, Pennsylvania.
The most incredible thing in elections history is very rare, if not maybe even ever happening, a sudden bump, an anomaly. But no, that's totally fine. Whatever. We're moving on from that, I guess. I got to say, you asked me,
and
who's
to have
going to
a
win?
whole dump for one candidate and not a dump for another candidate in all 6 swing states has also never happened.
About all that, the fact...
You said what?
About all that, I'll say this. Shenanigans and all that aside, because I can't point to any evidence that it's significantly dealt with. So understanding that, what I'm trying to say here is that the fact that look, have you ever thought about how a president has advisors? You know, a lot of people wonder, what's the point of voting? What's the point of a president? Biden wasn't even in control. So obviously there's a deep state, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But the mere fact that the president has advisors, even up to this day, proves that there is still a seat of power there. You understand, it has its place. Yes. That there are so many actors, because it's through these advisors that these presidents get lied to, and all sorts of different pulling, all these different factions pulling at the president, and liars too. A bunch of these. The mere fact that there is that relationship happening means that there's a value there. So let me apply this to elections. The mere fact that there are shenanigans, if there are any, shows that there is a value to the process. You understand me? So you can't what I'm trying to say here is that you can't just snap your fingers and take an election. Okay? You can only put your finger on the scale. So you can theoretically, and this is all theoretical. I know it's as far as I know, these are fair and safe elections. Theoretically, you can outvote this, okay? And I know it's like, what a shame that you even have to have this conversation, but anyways, what do you think about that?
No, I totally agree. And I remember that he got 10 more million votes the second election than the first. Can you imagine that? He got 65 million in 2016. And then in 2020, he got 75 million.
Yep.
In 4 years, 10 million people voting for him. That's insane. So, no, I agree with what you're saying. It can be voted out, but...
And with all the things said that we've said so far, in my personal opinion, I still think Trump has like the edge here. He's kind of like the candidate to win. He's got all sorts of new factions and people behind him in a new way.
Also, Kamala shot herself in the foot recently with all these interviews where
she can't help us look bad. Please go.
A guy on InfoWars was saying that he was saying something along the lines of like because that 60-minute interview with Kamala, it seemed like they were trying to like kind of take her down in that interview. They were asking her, it's never happened before where a sitting incumbent is going to be, or whatever, the next president's going to be not elected in. You were just sort of ushered in. Why did that happen? Why weren't you elected? And she just couldn't answer. So, and then I don't know how much I believe this conspiracy, but like I guess Biden just doesn't get along with her. Trump said it in the debate, but I don't know. I've seen some videos of Biden putting a MAGA hat on. I don't know.
That was funny. That was cool.
I think they don't like her at all. They don't want her to win. That's why I think Trump will for sure win, is because I feel like the deep state, kind of like what you were saying, going back to that article, I feel like they're having their own, like within their own party, a little cultural civil war going on.
I hear you, Ryan. Yeah, thank you for your commentary on that. Anything else you want to talk about real quick?
Yeah, no, that was it. I was just wondering who you thought was actually going to win.
I hope him. I hope Trump. I personally believe he's got a little bit of the edge. I think it's still quite a competitive election. And when you consider the, how do I put this? Because I can't even like accurately describe this part of the whole thing, because there are big beasts and whales in the background, the money and the factions supporting, it's not Democrats, but it's NATO aligned, State Department, deep state versus what was initially this is my impression, folks, what is initially and still remains, but now with some extra team players, which is a populist independent challenge to that, with new players and new money in that team now. You got some Silicon Valley, some. So I really don't quite understand the factions fully, but when you're looking at some of that, it seems like some of those actors, there's just a lot of support behind Trump. I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah, no, totally. And I agree with what you said. He just got that kind of glam. Like, he's just known around the world. When he walks in, everyone pays attention. He's just like the man of the hour kind of person. So I totally agree.
Sir.
But anyway, I'll let you go, brother.
Pleasure, Ryan.
Have a good show.
We'll talk.
Good talking to you.
Yeah, big time. We'll talk. 888-775-3773. One day the God Emperor will appear. The God Emperor. The Emperor of America. The God Emperor of America will appear one day. You think? The God Emperor. Hold on. One day, one man will take on, and this is in the down in the future of America, maybe even generations ahead. There will appear when through the system and democracy, evil actors and communists and people who want control and power will have been elected so much so that to undo it democratically may not be possible. And I'm remembering I'm going back to some of Bill Lockwood and what he was saying, the tree of liberty. You know, one day a God emperor may appear far in the future of America that will take on all the troubles and problems of the Americans, that will represent all the best parts of the Americans, that will represent all the best parts of their culture and America and even humanity, maybe even humanity. And they will refresh, they will rejuvenate the tree of liberty with the blood of patriots. But what will be sad about the whole affair, what will be sad about this whole affair is that it never really had to happen. But yet it has to happen because human nature is wicked. Human nature is wicked, and even though an amazing country like America could be made, it could be undone. Because the hearts of man is wicked, and they want control, and they want power. Liberty? No. You wait, fight against the forces of chaos? No. Make deals with the forces of chaos for self-gain, they'll say. But the sad thing about this whole affair of refreshing the blood of patriots with the emperor of America that will lead America in the future, they will look to this person as their leader. Democracy, no. Bring us back a king, they'll say. This has all got too messed up. This has all gotten way too messed up, they'll say. We need a king. And they will be correct. They will need a king at that point. But it wouldn't be necessarily a good thing. It will really be a sad affair because it never had to happen. Because the Americans never really had to go down the path of anger, the path of fear, of giving up control, blaming and giving up your own life, giving up your own mind. They never had to go down that path, and that'll be the sad thing about the whole affair. You know, I think even the Bible, it said that there were some people, the Israelites, who clamored for a king. I bet you that king was probably even an amazing guy. He probably gave them and brought them out of a lot of horrible things. But those Israelites, I believe, I never read the story. I might have to go into my Bible. But I heard those Israelites, even those Israelites, you know, in a sense, somehow suffered or were, you know, they got the consequences of asking for a king when God told them you shall have no kings. And this man, he'll have to come about, this emperor of man. But the folly of the whole thing is that not only will the greatest things not only will the greatest aspects of man in America be exemplified in this man, so will their flaws. And the cycle of man and human nature and mankind will continue. I don't know. I'm just, hey, you know, 40K is pretty cool sometimes. I don't even play the game. I just like the lore. So I was talking about the Washington consensus. Can I show you the female consensus? Welcome to how about the female consensus? Huh? This is the ruling hand of the female. Are you ready for your new leaders?
We are turning the page. Did you see her do that? Yeah. Can you do it with me? We are turning the page on Donald Trump. Yep. We are turning the page on Project 2025. And we are turning the page to a new way forward to a future where everyone can live with freedom. We are turning
the page. Gwen Walz, I guess this is Tim Walz's wife. Look, it's just a little taste of the W consensus, the female consensus, okay? Which is actually no ruling consensus of like the Beijing or Washington consensus at all. It's just like platitudes. It's just platitudes and songs. Okay? And, you know, you just have to because it's time. It's just time, folks, okay? Don't you know it's just time?
When the Scarlet team comes on the field, we will all stand up and cheer. To the other team we'll never yield, and we won't forget we're here. We will fight for victory and win. We will conquer every thing.
That's cute. Ain't that cute? She should be a school teacher or something. I think she might even be a school teacher. That's cute. Hey, why do I get the impression the hate report, if he was watching that, there's something he'd enjoy about that. There's something he'd enjoy. Not as a president or a leader of any kind. The hate report is too based for that. But there's something about her. There's something Mary Rice Hopkins about Gwen Waltz. But yeah, welcome to your new leaders, okay? Get used to it. We're turning the page. Let's get to another caller. Your name and where you calling from?
Hello, Nick.
Wow, what's up, Maze?
I'm just listening to the, how would you put it, the ill and uninformed. Why do people let people tell them how to think?
I know. I think it's because...
If you get Newsmax, you get ABC.
I thought she asked me a question.
Tell the people and they want to spread it as if they study it and did some research. They don't know. They just out here talking.
Who?
And that's not why I called you. I could have asked you a question.
No, but you make such a good point, Maze. Why do people let others think for them? It's so crazy. Yeah. They're out here believing all sorts of lies. They believe the craziest conspiracy theories. No. You hear some of these conspiracy theories, they're like, Kamala Harris is a good president. Kamala, if you'll allow me to explain some of these conspiracies, because I agree with you. I agree with you, Maze. People believe all sorts of lies. They let other people think for them. They tell them, you live in a racist country.
How to hate people.
And
all that
I agree.
Stuff.
But please, go ahead.
I mean, just like, what's wrong with them? They're unhappy. Happy people don't do that.
I think that's part of it, Maze. Yeah, happy people.
The souls are too right. Like you talking about Lockwood, he's one of
people who don't have problems don't go around believing conspiracies like racism and stuff like that. But I agree.
People want to find out the truth, and then when the lie come out, then it's done with everybody out there running with it like Henny Penny. But that's not why I called you.
I gotta use that one.
The sky is falling.
Henny Penny.
One person said it, or a little group over there said it. They hate people.
I'll be running around like Henny Penny sometimes, Maze.
And if they get rid of those riding horses they got, they would be happy too. But I think they were looking for somebody to love them. They don't love themselves and they don't love nobody else. When I hear this madness, but I called you about
it's madness. I agree. But please go ahead.
But the nature, that's what I'm calling you about.
The what?
Now, do you think nature is taking this land back and all of that was taken away?
Wait. Nature? What are you saying about nature? Go ahead. Say it again.
Well, you see all of these storms, all of this water just taken away. You know, it used to be land, it used to be water in the beginning, but they want to, these people that think they built America, just put houses all over, everywhere, places they shouldn't be. So
I thought they didn't build them. I thought they just, so did they build America or no? You said these people who think they built America put houses everywhere. So did they build America or no?
Houses everywhere. What happened to the houses that's everywhere?
The houses that the people who built America built? Well, they got destroyed by nature in some cases.
The storms. Who's destroying them? You don't know if it's a Republican in there, or you don't know if it's a Democrat.
Where? In the storm? What are you talking about?
You're a Democrat, you're a Republican. But it's destroying everything, everybody.
I agree.
It's in the path of the storm.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's happening for a reason.
Wait, what reason is that? If I may comment,
Maybe it's happening to make some people come to their senses.
Well, if you're saying it's happening for a reason, you're implying that someone or something...
And it's not a king, and it's not a queen. I said nature.
So nature...
Yes.
So nature is sentient. Nature is sentient, is a god of sorts, and has decided to send these hurricanes to teach a lesson?
Yes.
And what lesson is that?
For the greedy, and the unloving, and the fools.
But what about all those poor Appalachians?
Their lives out and do better. What?
You're telling me all those poor Appalachians are greedy?
Yes.
How so? I mean, they might be greedy, but I mean, I'm thinking in a different way. I'm thinking like how everybody's greedy.
Down in Florida. I mean, the stuff that they've been doing.
But are you saying the poor Appalachians are any more greedy than like someone in like another part of the country?
Well, the whole world is that way.
But you're saying these people, even the poor people in the Appalachians, got hit with this to learn the lesson to not be so greedy. But they're like poor, Maze.
Greedy, the hated, they hate people. So now the things that they complain about, they don't have nothing.
So who's nature punishing? So who are everybody? So
evil people.
Everybody on the East Coast, South Florida, all that area, they're all greedy, evil people, and they're being punished by nature.
Not over. It's not over. You're gonna see some more.
That's crazy, Maze. What kind of God do you believe in?
Excuse me? I believe in nature taking this course.
Nature
And that's
sounds
what's
like
happening.
nature sounds like a
Because
nasty
America looks
woman
like
god.
Look like a war zone now.
Yeah, and you're
No
saying it's
houses and
you're
everything
saying
is gone, and everybody is.
I say it's just weather, the same weather that's been around for a long time, thousands of years. But you're saying it's some sort of god. It sounds like a female vindictive god that wants to destroy. It sounds like a nasty god you believe in.
I said it's nature. Storm is nature.
Yeah, you said
God. To clean up.
Yeah, you
And
said
maybe
the
when they
goddess.
come to reality, somebody got to rebuild this.
Right, you're talking about the goddess nature, the wrathful goddess nature, right?
I'm not talking about a king, and I'm not talking about a queen.
You're talking about a god.
And he's destroying what man made.
She, it can't be a he. She's so
So
nasty and
whatever you
evil
wanna-
with all her hurricanes. That has to be a female god.
He's destroying what man made. So what is man going to do to rebuild it?
But Maze, it's almost like a little.
It's like you got
It
to
sounds
start
like
all
made
over
up, Maze. It sounds like you just. It sounds like you're deciding this. It doesn't sound like God or
just giving you
nature
what
has
I
decided
think.
this. Well, I mean, I'd like to hear you out. Maybe you can explain to me how you know this. But so far, the way you're talking about these people getting hit by
You might be
hurricanes,
insecure. I'm sorry.
it sounds like you're. It sounds like it's not nature making this judgment, but Maze is the one making this
Well, I'm
judgment.
just what nature is doing. I'm just watching it.
But it doesn't sound like you're just watching it. It sounds like you've decided, no, these hurricanes are hitting evil people for their greed. And I want to know how you
Everybody
came to that
everybody
conclusion.
was
Because it sounds like just
like
Maze is making that conclusion. It sounds like Maze is the god, the arbiter of.
Have you ever watched? Sometimes a storm will go through, and it'll hit a neighborhood, and the one house next to it don't touch.
And why do you think that is?
I don't know. Maybe somebody in that house doing something right.
Maze, why are you playing God?
No, I'm not playing God. I don't wanna play God.
Deciding what nature, deciding what these
I'm just
storms
looking at
mean.
nature.
You're playing
I'm looking at
God.
nature.
You're playing God.
Yeah.
You're playing God, deciding what these storms mean and what they're doing to these people.
Sometimes when you wish something,
Should you get hit by a storm, Maze?
What?
Should you get hit by a storm and your house destroyed?
Will it just be destroyed?
But then that means you'd also be a greedy, evil
I'm not
person,
gonna
just
worry
like these
about
other
it.
people,
Just-
right?
What?
You would also be just as greedy and evil as these other people, right?
No, well, if I don't worry about storms hitting me
Why?
or nothing because
should
I'm not
be.
an evil person. I don't have a rotten heart.
Huh?
I'm not an evil person. I don't have a rotten heart.
Do you get it? Do you have anger? Are you judging? You're judging
No.
all those people in the.
You don't
You're
tell the
judging
truth.
all those people in the South and all that. And you want to tell me that sounds like I don't know your heart, Maze, but it sounds like a nasty, judgmental heart. You know, you apparently know. Did the goddess nature tell you this? Because apparently you know what a goddess, a lower goddess.
Who do you think is doing it then?
Huh?
Who do you think is doing it?
Why? Wait. Slow down, Maze. Why is that even a normal question? When you see a storm, wait. When you see a hurricane, why is the question after that, who's doing this? That's not the. I'm not saying you can't ask that question, but it's not a normal question. It's not a normal place to go instantly because it's a storm, Maze. It's weather. Do you ask, Maze? Do you when you see
Have you ever been in a storm
when you
before?
see the sun come up, Maze? Do you ask who did that?
No, because I
Why
know the
not?
sun will rise. And if it don't, something might be wrong.
When the wind blows, how about when the wind blows on your lovely face, Maze, and you feel a nice breeze? Do you ask who sent that breeze?
It's nature.
But Maze. So then
So now I asked you the question.
you
Have
ask me
ever been in
are you asking me who's responsible for the hurricanes?
No, I'm just telling you what's happening. And your eyes are not sharp enough to see, just like your ears can't hear.
Well, help me see, Maze, because so far it sounds like you're trying to say that people are responsible for a hurricane.
No, people are not
Tell me
responsible.
how.
Nature is destroying things that people made, built, for some reason. Now, why do you think that it'd be just tearing up buildings and all this stuff?
Wait, why do I think what?
That the storm tear up buildings and some it do and some it don't. Because it can rain on one side of the street and not rain on the other side. What do you think that happens?
Hurricanes and tornadoes, they famously switch direction quickly. It's like the wind. You don't know where it's going. You don't know where it came from.
Who is going to hit?
It's like the wind. You don't know where it's coming. Where it is literally wind.
It's hitting some places.
But I mean, I don't know what you're trying to say with that, Maze. Are you saying that even under these hurricanes, that there are places that were spared because they were good people? Like, okay, whatever. That's cute. Maybe.
What's wrong with that? If I
don't
think,
know.
you don't have to think it. If I think it, we don't think alike. We don't even look alike. So
Yeah,
why do we
you
have to
think you know what God is doing, and they're
I didn't say it was God.
you're
I asked
God,
you, you ever been in a
and you know you're God, and you know that those are evil people being punished by those hurricanes.
Have you ever been
Is
in a
that how
storm?
you look around in the world, Maze? You look around, you look at the news, and you're like, oh, look at those evil people getting destroyed. Oh, look at those evil people getting destroyed. Look at those evil people. That's so nasty, Maze. You're sitting around just looking at it. Look at those people getting what they deserve. Do you know? Did you know that you get what you deserve, Maze?
Yes, I do.
Nice.
And it's something good all the time.
Right on.
So actually, have you ever been in a storm?
Yes, I have. I grew up in Miami, Florida. I was born in Florida. I was born in Miami. We lived in a number of places. I lived in like near West Palm Beach area for some time. We lived in what's it called? Kendall for a while. We lived in Hialeah for a while. And in all those places, when hurricane season came around, I remember a handful of times where we had to batten down the hatches, put these metal things on the windows, and we left. And we went for safety or whatever, and we came back, and we just kind of hoped that everything was there. So, yeah. I've been around that kind of stuff, hurricanes and stuff.
So how do you think some people that have never been in one?
And you know what, Maze? Our house was always fine. What do you think about
Your
that?
house was always fine, so evidently your mother was doing something good.
You don't know my family.
I thought your mother was on Jesse's show, remember?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. And?
And?
Exactly. You saw the episode. You should know better.
That's what I'm saying. Some people never.
You should know better than to think that woman, as decent as love. That's my mother you're talking about. Lovely woman. But that being said, you saw the episode of her on JLP. You should know better than to think that nature was going to protect her from a disaster.
Does she have a mind of her own?
Huh?
Do you think it's great that your mother have a mind of her own?
Yeah, sure.
I can't say that for your sisters, but I can say that for your mother.
Huh? What mind do they not have? My sisters.
They they're not like your mother. I put it that way.
No, you don't know my family, Maze. What are you you don't know what you're talking about, Maze.
Your mother have a mind of her own, and your sisters don't.
You actually have.
I'm gonna leave it like that.
You have no idea what you're talking about, Maze.
Okay.
None of those women you saw in that episode have a mind of their own. Let me tell you that.
I was listening to your mother.
My sisters have my mom's mind, and my mom has Satan's mind.
No. Your mother don't let nobody think for her, not even you.
Huh?
Your mother don't let nobody think for her, not even you.
I know, she should,
you
though.
Jump in a corner
I know, it's a problem. Her whole life she's been rebelling. It's like, let a man tell you what to think, lady, because you're crazy. I know, you're so right, Maze. It's crazy. I tell her all the time, you think you have a mind of your own. It's really the mind of Satan. And I'm just like, you think crazy. Let me think for you. But she won't do it. And I don't need her to do that anyways. She's a grown woman.
That's a good thing when you don't let people think for you.
Nice.
Because they can lead you in the wrong direction.
You enjoyed that episode with my mom and my sisters?
I sure did.
I love them. Do you love my family?
You love them, don't you?
Of course. They're amazing.
Everybody don't love their mother and their sisters and brothers.
The middle one, she's like a little bit more rebellious and outspoken, has her own business. And the other one, she's way shyer, married. But both of them have my mom's mind. Both of them are dominated by my mother.
Well, that's what you.
Both of them have to forgive her. Do you agree? Did you see that in that episode that Hey, by the way, Maze, you're saying that my sisters don't have a mind of their own. Are you saying that because they agreed with Jesse somewhat?
They don't have a mind like your
Are you
mother.
saying that because they agreed with Jesse somewhat?
Mother is not a follower. I put it that way.
You're telling me that you saw my sisters hear the message of forgiveness and they were like, wow, that makes sense. And you're going to say that they don't have a mind of their own? Maze.
Yes, Nick.
Maze.
Yes, Nick.
That's messed up, Maze.
I'm asking your mother for my forgiveness. Forgiveness for what?
That's what my mom says, and I'm just like, what the? I'm like, She's like, what are you trying? What do you want me? What did you forgive me for? And I'm just like, Mom. Come on, Maze. Moms know. Mothers know. Don't act like that.
Mm-hmm. I listen to these people sticking their chests out.
My mom knows. She knows. She knows. She knows.
But wimps, that's how they are.
Maze, let me ask you this.
What?
Should a male grow up as a mama's boy?
No.
And why not?
For what reason?
And let me just, for the sake of time, do you think that a man with just way too much mama's boy is being, that's a damaging thing to their life, and they're going to take that on to their adulthood and be damaged by that?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
You don't think a mama's boy will take that on into their adulthood?
What is a mama's boy?
Now she doesn't know what a mama's boy is. I'll let you Google that one, Maze.
I think you one.
Huh?
I think you're a mama's boy.
Wow, rude. I forgave my mom, Maze. You don't know what you're talking
I forgive
about.
your mom. I mean, you have nothing to forgive. I mean, she looked at you and probably laughed because it's funny.
She looked, yeah, because that's what evil moms do. They laugh away the pain. That's how all people, they laugh away the pain. They're like, I don't know what you're talking about.
You probably laughed the pain that
That's
you
what
run out of her
you
house
love doing that,
on
don't
your
you,
own.
Maze?
What?
That's what you're doing right now in this call. Like,
what?
Nick.
Make what?
It's too painful, Maze. The truth.
I don't have pain.
Maze, what else do you want to talk about real quick?
Well, that's it. I'm just looking at nature take its course. And I wonder what's going to get fixed first, the stadium or the people's houses.
Wait, what'd you say?
The stadium that blew away in Florida, the top that blew up. I wonder what's going to get first, that the rich man that owned that stadium or the poor people that got houses blown away. Which one you think going to get fixed first?
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, we shall wait and see.
Yeah, right. You should wait and see. Because you were starting to sound cynical there, like you knew what's going to happen.
No, we'll wait and see.
Nice. Right on, Maze. Hey, wait, before I let you go, if you don't see anything wrong with Mama's Boys, how come you try to make me fun? How come you try to make fun of me with it?
No, I'm making fun of you. You was the one complaining about a mama's boy.
No. How come you try to make fun of me? If
You're
you
trying
don't,
to say
if
your
you don't
mother-
think it's anything bad, if you don't think
It's
there's
not.
anything
I'm saying
bad
you're
about
trying
it,
to- Mother don't care about
you like Mama's
you were
Boys?
the only son.
You'd raise a Mama's Boy? You'd be okay with that?
If I raised a mama's boy, he wouldn't be. He'd be a man when he left my house.
And so he wouldn't be a Mama's Boy when he left the house, meaning
He would always be my-
you wouldn't want him to be
he
a
would always
Mama's
be my
Boy,
son.
meaning Mama's Boy is bad.
Meaning he would
We
always
got
be-
her, folks. We
mother.
got her. Maze
means-
admits it. She agrees with us, but she just likes to play games.
No. A mama's boy is a person that has one son. And a daddy's daughter is a father that has one daughter. And that's the way I see it.
Whatever, Maze. I love talking to you. Call me again.
Okay, you have a good one.
Bye. Chad, I was trying to have a strong face, but Maze got me. It's over. It's freaking over, Maze. I mean, it's freaking over, chat. It's over. But we got her too. She admitted it. Mama's boys. Oh, why didn't you want to raise a mama's boy, Maze? Sounds like maybe you do know what. Maybe it sounds like all you people who say we're crazy about the mother thing. You're like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Forgiveness for what? You guys, you know. Especially the older ladies, okay? Okay, you guys know. Damn. Chat is all mazed up right now. I'm messed. It's a mess. It's over for me. Let's get to this last call. You only have a few minutes here, caller. Thanks for patiently waiting. You're on the air. Your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, it's Carl from.
Is this Kyle? Hey, Kyle. You know that's only one
How's it
call
going?
a day, right?
Oh,
yeah.
Am I kicked off instantly?
Bro, did you know that you're a time vampire?
I don't know. I was a vampire.
You know you're a time vampire. Are you aware of that, or you do you like being a time vampire for jokes?
All right. Well, it's also my birthday, so anyways, have a good one.
Happy birthday, sir. No. But I was asking you a sincere question, not being rude, or I'm not. If you're still hearing me, Kyle, he hung up. I wasn't trying to be rude or make fun of you or start a fight. You're still my friend, Kyle. You can still call my show. As far as I know, you can still call all the shows. They all like you. As far as I know, everybody likes you, Kyle. Nothing. I was just wondering if you knew that you're a time vampire. Because sometimes people know they're being a time vampire and they're just kind of joking around. And I get the impression that Kyle likes to joke around and push the Hey, I get it, Kyle. I like doing that too. But sometimes people have no idea that they're time vampires. And I just wanted to know if you knew that. And they're just like, yeah, Nick, so I went and I saw this. I went and I took a piece of bread out of my cabinet. And when I looked at the bread, it made me think about my cousin because my cousin likes bread. And bread, it's made of wheat. And wheat, when you think about wheat in the world and how it's planted, do you know, some people don't know they're time vampires. And I don't have any problem with you, Kyle. You can call my show. Hey, let's get to these super chats before we finish. Let's get to these super chats. Thank you so much for the support, y'all. Let's start here. Wow. Thank you so much, everybody. Kyle, no hard feelings, man. It really wasn't any personal. Lin Yan Chin, thank you so much, says, they're going to be a random play of one of my clips. What's the minimum donation per minute? $20 Canadian? No, sir. You donate a bunch, man. What do you want me to play? Can you tell me which one you want me to play? Because, if they were, sometimes they're pretty interesting, you know. If they were just like boring, I probably wouldn't play it. I'd tell you, hey, man, thanks for the donation. I don't want to play. I haven't checked our message thread, Lin Yan Chin, lately. I've been busy. I don't know which one you want me to play. Let me know. Maybe I could play it tomorrow. Appreciate the donation, sir. Lin Yan Chin. Or tell me in the chat. David Morgan with the thumbs up. Thank you so much. Lin Yan Chin with another one says, this is for you to play a random Lin Yan Chin says rambles mess. Okay, you said random. Here we go. Hold on. You said random. Here we go.
Oh, man. I'm like eating up my words, stumbling and mumbling like I'm pooping, but I'm not really pooping. I'm trying to focus, concentrate my mind, and extrapolate something. But what that something is, I kind of forgot. Oh, yes, I remember now. You know how the New Age nut jobs believe if they stand outside barefoot, they can collect so-called negative ions? Okay, so in the previously mentioned nonsense I made up about turning your blood gold because you're breathing in a certain weird way that produces piezoelectric effects in your nervous system, your blood, your whole body, raising your power level. Yeah. Dang. I think I forgot my train of
Look, so wait.
Thought. Nick, THC is bad. Don't do THC.
Oh! Lin Yan Chin, I disavow. Lin Yan Chin. Lin is tapped in. Look, what do you know about raising your power level, folks? Obviously nothing. Obviously you know nothing about raising your power level, okay? Thank you, Lin Yan Chin. That's a random for you. We got another one from 𝒐𝒊 back to back says, Nico, can you tell these beta females, libs, to have babies without complaining? Pregnancy isn't life-threatening. I heard your call on the Hake Report earlier, 𝒐𝒊. That was funny stuff. And there's a lot of just fear. Make the babies. Come on. Only 29 likes, 𝒐𝒊 adds. Come on, folks. I think it's time. And then we'll finish the super chats here. But you know what, 𝒐𝒊? You're so right. You're so right, 𝒐𝒊. In fact, it's gone a lot better now. There's a lot more likes, and I appreciate that. But you came into this home, you sat down, you're like, people were clearly watching something, and you're like, this is boring, and you switched the channel. People started playing music, and you butt in, you're like, yo, give me the aux, this sucks. Yo, this song sucks, give me the aux, bro. And they gave you the aux cord. And you started playing Carnifex from when you were in high school. And you're scaring the females. You're scaring the women. You made yourself a plate, you're eating, you're laughing it up, you took your shoes off, and you won't even click the like button. What kind of home were you raised in? What kind of home were you? What kind of mother what kind of home training did you have? Obviously none. Where you come into a home and you won't even click the like button. You won't even say hi. Come on, maybe you didn't like what you saw this whole show. Maybe you liked that not at all. Leave a comment for your brother, the anchor baby. Show some love. Tell him what you didn't like. I read every comment. Leave a like. Show some decorum. Don't be rude. Like the stream. What are you doing? So appreciate that, 𝒐𝒊. Let's finish up these super chats. Lin Yan Chin says, yup, seed oil was used for lubricating machinery when it was invented. 'Tis vegetable oil causing brain damage. It also caused decline of average IQ. Careful with that stuff. Harmony, thank you for your super chat, says, I'm hanging out with Trump tomorrow, Nit. Wait, are you joking? Are you for real, Harmony? That's amazing. How do we get you on the stream? Matthew with the super chat says, I painted my laptop black because I heard it would make it run faster. But now it won't work. Funny stuff, Matthew. Lin Yan Chin says, Tianzai is real. Nature is not just sentient, aka has sense, but also has what you think sentient means. Sapient, meaning sense of being and individual being. Nature, does this have to do with maize? Tianzai, what's Tianzai? I mean, this is like maybe spiritual stuff having to do with nature and stuff, Lin Yan Chin. You'll have to tell me more about it. David Morgan, thank you for your super chat. Lin Yan Chin says, with another one, nature perceives itself via the life within. The system is alive. It isn't God, but the real word equivalent of life force, the Holy Spirit. Do you think, Lin Yan Chin, it sounded like, if I remember, you were saying something about that natural disasters are ways to punish the public, to punish people, humanity, and all that. I'd like to hear more about that. Hey, it's no problem, Lin Yan Chin. I personally didn't mind that your voice chat mentioned those 3 little letters. I just don't want to put your business out there, man. So be careful what you send me and ask me to play on the show. I gather they're clean, like you told me, but don't put your hey, if you didn't mind, I don't mind. If you don't mind, I don't mind. Chris with a super chat says, ask Maze if lightning destroying the George Floyd mural was God. Darn, Chris, I got to pay more attention to my super chats, especially when I have a call. Maze, are you hearing this amazing question? Was lightning destroying George Floyd mural God, an act of God? Let me know, Maze. We all want to know. Kale Samogi with a super chat says, I'm so tired of folks acting like they don't know when they clearly do know. Honesty costs $0, solves all problems. Appreciate that, Kale. A little way of living your life. I think that's all the support for now. Thank you, Ohio Sentinel, Jules Verne, everybody on Rumble, everybody on D-Live. Much appreciated. Buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby if you ever want to leave me a coffee. In fact, hold up. We have a coffee from Hake. Hake with a coffee, and not just a coffee, but a Bible verse. Luke 13, verses 2-4. Let's read this. Jesus answered and said to them, do you suppose that these Galileans were worse sinners than all other Galileans because they suffered such things? I tell you no, but unless you repent, you will all likewise perish. Or those 18 on whom the tower in Siloam fell and killed them. Do you think that they were worse sinners than all other men who dwelt in Jerusalem? I tell you no, but unless you repent, you will all likewise perish. What do you think about that one, Maze? Amazing. Thank you for that one, Hake. Appreciate that, man. Very nice. Honestly, folks, more on that tomorrow. I got more stories. We got a nice show, packed, jam-packed Friday night Nick stream, flight stream. Don't miss it, 4 p.m. Pacific time. It's going to be great. We're way over time already now. I love it. Appreciate all the support, super chats, and everything else, the calls. But that's it for now, folks. See you tomorrow, 4 o'clock. We're taking off, and you don't want to miss your flight. All right, y'all. Peace. Take care. See you tomorrow. Bye. Oh, I want to do this more. I want to stress this more. Look, there's a lot of resources from Bond. You guys know about Jesse Lee Peterson, watching the Jesse Lee Peterson show, church on Sundays. But the silent prayer, rebuildingtheman.com/prayer. Hit up that silent prayer if you don't know about it. Silentprayer.video. It's an amazing little tool. And hopefully we get to talk about it more tomorrow. I got some more stuff for you. Jam-packed show. All right, y'all. Take care. Peace.